Okay, let's go. We're talking about 421. This is video number 57, and we gave it a title of Painting Problems because typically it's 7th grade math just to calculate the surface area of any object, but it's 8th grade math to take it to separate problems. So in this problem you have to do conversion. Then you have to figure out the surface area. And finally, you'll have to figure out how many gallons of paint you're going to need. How many gallons. So let's just talk about it briefly. There is this object that's in yards. It's a huge slab, a cubic slab, maybe of concrete or something. And each edge is 4 yards. It's a cube, as I mentioned. And top of it is a smaller cube that's 2 yards each edge. And there we go, and I'm making a little art here because I'm not really good at art. But on top of this, we have our little cube. And not little if you think about it, because a yard, as you know from conversion, is 3 feet. And so my job is, or your job, is to paint this. And you're going to paint it using some sort of white paint or something like that. And the question is, how many gallons of paint must I buy? And over here, to get how many gallons you have to buy, you'd have to convert, because the gallons you can only buy in square feet. You'd have to figure out what the surface area is, because you're only given the edges, which is linear. And then, of course, one would follow from the other, how many gallons. So I'll solve this problem for you. I'll give you one again tomorrow that you can try to do. And let's see how it goes for us doing this problem. Okay? So I'm slowing up here for a second to let you take a good look at the problem. And there are lots of problems just like this you can do. And the first thing I notice is that I don't need to calculate every face, every side, right? For example, the bottom side doesn't get calculated. No one's going to paint that. We all agree that's just common sense. And then underneath here, you definitely don't want to paint that because that's underneath the block over there. So it's just the part, so we say, that faces the sun that you'd be asked to calculate. So I'm going to calculate that now. I'll give you one tomorrow that you can do. And you'd be required to do math like this. I don't think it's too hard for kids like you, but let's see how it goes. Well, what's the conversion? 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet. And you're supposed to know that. A lot of you know that already from elementary school. So I gave you the conversions last week. I think Thursday and Friday we did that. So you'd have that down. And then you'd have to figure out what the surface area is, but you'd have to exclude the shaded area, which by common sense doesn't get painted. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. So let me do the problem, and I need to convert the yards into feet. So I'll do that. I go over here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. Well, since each yard is, I have 4 faces, and so since each yard is 3 feet, 4 times 3 is 12, and of course that's 12 feet, but squared, because it's a square. So there you go there. And so that would take care of the 4 faces on the side. And then, since I can't paint the little cube underneath that face, then it would be the other face, which is, which is going to be 4 times 3, which is 12 squared, right? 4 times 3, there's the conversion, minus, oh my God, the next one is 2 yards, so that would be 2 times 3, which is 6 squared. So we'll put that in parentheses so we don't get confused doing that. And finally, I carefully count how many faces are left. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 on the side and 1 on the top, 5. So that would be 5 times 2 squared, 2 times 3, which is 6. So that would be 6 squared. And there it is. I set up the problem. I converted yards into feet, something an 8th grader has to be able to do. And as you go to high school, you'll see there's a lot of stuff going on like this. Again, we're using the Anglo system. So now I continue, and so we don't waste time. Using a calculator that you can do on your own. Obviously, 12 squared is 144. This is going to be 144 minus 36, and this is going to be 5 times 36. No problem there. I put everything on the calculator, and I get 576 plus 144 minus 36 is 108. And finally, 5 times 36, which is 180. Okay? And I'll add all these up. I'll take the trouble of doing it for you. And I come up with 864 square feet. So that's what has to be painted in square feet. Okay? And now I take a look at this thing all over again. And let's see, and I need to figure out, I need to go to the store and figure out how many gallons of paint would cover this. Now, this is an idealized problem. If you're a professional painter, you always buy a little more than you need, because you can always use the extra later. So I won't do that in this problem, since it's just a math problem. So I have the square feet, which I calculated, and I'll divide that by what 1 gallon each gallon covers. Okay? So when I look at that, that means I have 864 square feet divided by 144 square feet. And when I put that on the calculator, it turns out I have to buy 6 gallons. Okay? So there we go. We did a problem. I'm going to give you one almost identically tomorrow. And also, so that I'll have a little bit more to do over here, I'm going to give you a problem very similar to the homework, to what's on the test. And I'll set it up for you, and I'll do it tomorrow. This will give you a chance to check on your understanding. Okay? So I imagine a huge swimming pool. Okay? And I imagine, so we keep everything the same, that the width is the diameter of the swimming pool is, we'll say, just to make the math easy here, and make it big enough so it's a huge swimming pool. We'll say it's 5 yards, so we don't repeat 4 again. Okay? 5 yards. And obviously I can't paint the top of the swimming pool. Obviously I can't paint the bottom of the swimming pool. And I imagine that the side is maybe some ugly brown color. And I'm asked as a job to paint it. And the height would be, let's see, 6 feet. Height would be around 2 yards. Call the height 2 yards. Okay, that's H. All right? And I need to paint this as well, and we'll change the gallon thing. We'll say that this has like a special kind of paint, and we'll say that each gallon covers about, or precisely, because that's what they have to do by law, actually, on there, covers precisely, and we'll say each gallon covers precisely 120 square feet. Okay? And I need to know, of course, how many gallons I have to go to the store and buy. So I just changed the numbers. gave you a similar problem with the kind of stuff you're going to do. Here I'll put the water here. There's the water on top, so you know you can't paint that. How are you going to paint the bottom? So we'll see if you recognize something I taught you, how many gallons to buy. Okay? And tomorrow I'm going to give you some similar ones where we'll use volume and weight per cubic inch, where you'll be doing the work as well. So there's the problem set up for you. A new one. On tomorrow's assignment, I'll give you one precisely like the one you just did, and solve it the day after that. And we'll see how it goes. There's your conversion in this particular case. Okay? And we'll leave it like that for now.